Okay, next question. What are the challenges in building a SaaS business and how do you overcome those? Let's start with Daniel first.
Okay. Have you made any recent or do you have any plan to do systems or product improvements that help services deliver better results? Let's start with Brendan.
Yeah. So the answer is that yes, we always want to improve our product because we have to stay relevant in the longer run. And for that reason, I want to share this current slide right here. And a lot of you guys know who Paul Graham is. But one of the key things about what Paul Graham says is he says, do things that don't scale. And it's very counterintuitive. And I just want to explain why this is relevant to building your product and your next features. And that is because if you do things that don't scale, that means that you're going out, you're recruiting your engineers by yourself at the beginning. You're going out, you're doing your sales pitches with your customers. You're going out, you're helping your customers solve problems. What that does is it enables you to be customer centric and find better systems. So it helps you establish the best sales pitch, the best sales process, the best, like operational process to onboard the clients. And it also understands what your client's biggest pain points are. And that essentially helps you create a better product. So like, yes, we do have things to build in Qontak. And what I do want to say about that is we're doing it, the way that we approach that is that a lot of our team still does things that don't scale. Like we're still talking to them on Zoom. We're still like going and doing trainings with them time to time and meeting their BOD. And it also enables you to delight your customers because when you respond to them in that WhatsApp group, they're happy. And you get the third benefit here is that when you sort of have this culture of doing things that don't scale, you create what you call a scalable culture. That means that everyone in your culture, in your team, is so tight-knit. Everyone in your team really knows that the client matters the most, and that defines the culture of your team. And so everything that you did that didn't scale enabled you to scale into the future because you have a certain type of work ethic, a certain type of attitude to your clients, your customer service, and to your product development. Yeah.
Okay. So in Qontak itself, do you have any plan in delivering more product or services to your customers?
Yeah, absolutely. We do. And it's all based on like our research on doing things that don't scale, following core value. Right now, we're focused on more integrations. So one of the integrations we're working on is workflow automation. So like, let's just say we onboarded like let's just say a lot of these couple of companies that they distribute Toyotas. And every 6 months, they want a message to go out that sort of makes sure that people extend their contract so they come back in to service their car. So what that means is that you can come in your CRM and you can sort of set a workflow automation to ensure that people come back and pay you. And that increases the core value of helping your clients make more money and automating their business. So the two core values, and then they just keep coming back. So we're working on these integrations. At the end of the day, whatever features that we're trying to build for the purpose of this talk doesn't really matter. What really matters is the philosophy or the theory behind it, which is, and how do we find what those features are for the friends on this call, which is, like the two mindsets. One is core value, and the second one is doing things that don't scale, so that you are able to create scalable features.
Yeah, but adding to that, about the pricing, when you have new features, adding to your current features, do you charge more, or that's a plus, just a plus for your existing clients?
Yeah. So So that comes back to what people are willing to pay for, right? So if people are sending out messages, more messages using that API and that integration, then they will pay more because every single message that they send out must be paid. But that doesn't mean that they're paying a higher price because that price was already disclosed in the beginning. But now they just end up wanting to send more messages, which increases the revenues that you earn as a company. So you don't want to make your pricing complex in Indonesia. You want to make your pricing simple. So we have packages, 6-month packages, and you know, and in some cases, what we're also doing is creating these variable ways to earn revenues.
Okay, so so what you're saying is that the existing clients will not pay more, but for other clients they might pay differently.
Yeah, they won't. Yeah, exactly. Because you don't want to complicate it. But we have launched like a feature where we added in a commerce component. So like we've integrated our system to WooCommerce. So all your products in your CRM all of a sudden have generated a commerce catalog on WooCommerce, which is an open source, like engine, as you guys all know. And then we've added payment integration there. So like if they want to set up that WooCommerce add-on, then we'll charge for that because the market is willing to pay for it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Brandon. How about you, Daniel?
Yeah. So in terms of the question, like what have we been doing and what are we going to continue to do in the future here to help deliver better services? We go back to our 3 core value props, right? Very clear to us. 1 is monitor and control. 2 is snackable insights, and 3 is usability. And during this period, as well as continue going forward, I'll give you some examples here, like on monitor and control. Right, we just released our artificial intelligence trials with a few of our clients. This is where basically they can take a picture of the person using a mask, and the picture will automatically read whether a person has the right mask on or not, right? So it doesn't require people to actually check these things, right? And that will continue to move forward into temperature, particularly for equipment, as well as planograms for FMCG, right? So it doesn't require people to compare or anything like that. The system does it for you. And then with regards to the snackable insights, we're continuing to build towards the predictive and prescriptive even analytics, right? Based on all the data that we've acquired for these clients and all the performance that has happened, right? And lastly, the usability. I think integrations play a very important part to that. With various software that they're using, but also always improving on the experience, knowing how people use our platform, right? Their journey, etc. These types of things we continue to ask questions, we continue to study, and we continue to collect feedback so that we can give people the best experience that they can have.
And regarding the new features, are you going to charge extra, like an add-on, or it is something that is, because even us, we are using Nimbly, and we are using Qontak, right? And we have a contract.
Yeah.
And are we going to get to use your new features?
Yep. So usually the way we do it is that if they're still in beta mode and all of those things, we allow people to use it for free. But for depending also on how big of a feature it is too, right? For these kind of features, I mean, also if it costs you something, API calls and things like that, we have to charge extra, right? Or attaching videos up to a certain point, you have to start charging, right? So some of these are add-ons, but we also have it where we package it in enterprise, for example, right? Enterprise starting at this. So depending on the menu of things that you're going to want to use and choose, then those costs will be negotiated, right? And going back to finalize on pricing, I think because you guys focus on it so much, so important, right? in Indonesia, that I don't see as much elsewhere, or at least to the level that it is the amount of discounting or nego, right? That people are asking. It's always, hey, this is the price, below nego, before nego, right? So it's as if you have to set up an artificial pricing or something like that. Especially if you know they're big, and they're first thing they're gonna say, we want 50% off, right? And you're like, that doesn't even make sense. But for some clients, it may make sense, right? Depends on, again, their growth rates, and this is where we look at volume discounts and tiering discounts and things like that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. But what one note, we did not nego, right?
Yeah, because you guys started so small, so there's no nego needed, right? I mean, we don't even negotiate until it's a certain amount, right?
I didn't even know the price until I signed the contract.
Trust me, you have a preferred pricing for our relationship.
Okay. All right. Next question from Arya.
So I think it's because it's already 5:40. We're gonna go with the last question. This is the question that we always ask to the founders. What is the key takeaway from you guys from doing this venture? Right. I mean, we kind of know that being a founder, being an entrepreneur, it's not always great. There's always like downtime and everything. What is your key takeaway and then your advice for aspiring founders or maybe like even professionals who would like to be founders? So let's start with Brendan.
Yeah. There's a lot of takeaways when you do your business, and one that has really helped me is this one right here. And this is sort of a model that was created by a marketer. His name is Seth Godin, and it sort of is called like the concentric circles of marketing. And this is really key to helping you sort of, and it's also helped me. And that is that on the outside of this circle, you have a lot of hype, a lot of like, this is sort of like your Google ads, your Facebook ads on the outside. And then on the inside of that is sort of like the tribe, or like your core audience group who sort of follow, who are interested in that ads, in that hype, etc. And inside of that is sort of the usability and the support. And inside of that is your product. So what you'll notice is that sometimes you'll build something and it just doesn't work. And we've done that. We've made a lot of mistakes. And if you build something that doesn't work, no matter how many ads you put around, nothing will ever happen. Like it's just wasted money. And so, but sometimes if things aren't working, you just keep working inside of this circle. So what that means is that maybe you put ads out, but you're missing out on your community. You're missing out on your story. Or maybe you put ads out and you have the right people and the right story, but your product is just not usable. But maybe you've got, like really good ads, you've got a community and you've got usability, but no one's buying. Well, there's something wrong with your product. So everything you build, you just test it against this model right here. And you just start with the ads, your community, the usability, and your product. And you just keep going out to in. And over time, what you'll do is you'll start to create a better product that is more refined. And I think this is one of the core takeaways of being a founder. The other core takeaway is just to be resilient. So like no matter what happens, like for the good part of 2019, these are our actual numbers. I hid the numbers right here. But like our MRR, the rate of our MRR growth, so this is the rate of the MRR growth, was the same. And so like, and that's quite, like if you do that for 1 year, it's quite demoralizing. And so the key thing is to be really resilient and to always experiment so that you're sort of like, working in and out of these concentric circles. And I think like those are some of the core takeaways from my end, and I hope it's helped everyone that's listened to this. to start, like, or at least not to make the mistakes that I've made.
Thank you, Brendan. Daniel.
Yeah, for me, three things, right? One, and everyone has written about this, but basically it's very tough. I mean, there's a lot of up and downs and things that you feel like, okay, I just want to quit, or you know what, I make so much more money if I were working a professional job. Definitely not for the faint of heart, right? This is why you need a community. So things like this community here is very helpful. Your investors, your friends, etc., your significant others, and your etc., right? So that's one. Two is that a lot of things can change in 1 year, and, and now people see it, right? COVID, it could be for the good and for the worse, by the way. But if you're thinking, oh my gosh, things can get any worse or things can get any better, trust me, in 1 year, more than likely it'll change in a lot, right? At least for earlier stage startups. And then lastly, I would say that no matter how great or how good or how smart you are as a founder or co-founders, you can only get so far without a really strong team to support you and also to be smarter than you are, right? In their respective field. You'll just hit a ceiling, right? And so you'll need that strong team around you.
Yeah, so I think I want to add a little bit to that as well. That what I see is that failure is part of being entrepreneur, right? You'll fail, maybe like small failures, but sometimes you have to close down, right? Especially with this COVID, right? But I think quitting, not quitting, but I'm like saying that okay, this doesn't work, but gracefully and also being truthful about why. I think it's really important because as investors, you also want to see that okay, they learn something, right? And maybe we can back their next startup. And I think it's very important. I think that part is very important because like, if you just run away and then being irresponsible about the closing down of the company and everything, most likely you won't get any more funding in the future. Right?
You'll be blackballed, right?
So I think it happens a lot that founders think that maybe I should just close down, but I think the process of closing down is also important. And for this period of COVID, I think staying sane, being mentally healthy as well. I think it's really important as well. And I like what Daniel said that depend on your significant others. And I think during this time, it's really the most important time that you really depend on your significant others to share what you're facing. Right? So I think thank you. I'm really thankful for you, both of you, sharing all this great knowledge, great experience. On behalf of Prasetia and CR.com, thank you so much for attending today's session and sharing to us. Thank you, Brandon. Thank
So,
you, Daniel.
Thank you for having us.
so
Ardi will.
thank you,
Ardi has some.
Brandon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel,
Thank you,
and
Daniel. Thank you.
for the audience who sign up through the Goers, we will send follow-up emails for feedback form and AWS application form if you are interested. If there is any more question, you can just send email back or fill in the form in the follow-up email. And stay tuned to cr.com for the article of today's discussion, and it will be also published in CR News YouTube channel. So next session will be on Tuesday, July 14th, 2020. It will be about technology for fashion industry. And the guest speaker will be Winzendi Teja, CEO and founder of Yuna & Co. And Rohit Kumar, CEO and founder of Pixibo. So thanks again for the speakers for sharing some knowledge to us today, and thanks to the participants again for attending our webinar. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.